So
nice
this is the
contrast.
start of the video before the wine mouth. Hey.
No, thank you. You can't have my wine.
You are far too young for wine.
Welcome to Queers Queries.
Where these queers
Answer life's queries.
Ours?
And hopefully
yours.
So
we had a
query about what do you do if you have a family member, not necessarily like blood relative, but someone in your family
that you see
either regularly or not,
or semi-regularly
that you just can't stand. What do you do? Do you tell them off? Do you just avoid them completely? Do you create a scene every time? Like, what do you do?
So, Amory, what would you do in that situation?
Well, I've been in that situation more than a few times. I had a cousin's spouse who is now a cousin's ex-spouse. Shade. She was a life ruiner. Would ruin any party that wasn't about her. Like, to some extent, I mean, you have to decide, am I gonna be a mature adult? To what extent do you need to hang on to that? If they're being inappropriate or if they're being like hateful, that's one thing. But if they're just a really annoying, selfish human being that is sucking the life out of a family member, I'll probably like not straight up say something to the family member that they are attached to. Like, if I'm seeing you 3 times a year, I really don't need to rock the boat.
So I haven't had to deal with this a whole lot. My in-laws and extended in-law family are pretty awesome. You know, there are some times where things are said, and I think especially this day and age where, you know, with politics and social issues and things like that, things being often fairly divided, especially when you go to family gatherings and whatnot, on social media have made it very clear in dealing with certain family members, social media has helped us out in that way, is where we can go, listen, we clearly have some differences here. And I don't think we don't have to be the best of friends. We can be cordial. You should never involve yourself extensively with someone that you feel like is just draining you. We all work so hard to just deal with everything. When you go to a family function and you're just dreading going to this,
just because
what you want to put up with.
Somebody's family does not make them a good person.
And does not mean you have to put up with it. Shepherds especially are known for like hip dysplasia and stuff like that.
You run, are you a money baby?
Sometimes you have to put up with things. Amory is a kill 'em with kindness.
Oh, I love it.
I hate that. It's the worst.
So sometimes I do this thing called kill them with kindness. What I do, you have to tread this like fine line. You can't be like overly nice, but you have to be like genuinely like, how can we get to a place where this can be fixed? What can I do to make this better? It sounds like being a doormat, but by the end of it, they're apologizing to me.
I like that.
Like, that's the only way that I get my apology. If you match their level of like hate or venom or whatever BS self-centeredness, if you match that, you're just as bad as they are. And not only that, you're not getting what you need out of it. Sometimes if it's like, I see you 3 times a year, I'm gonna kill you with kindness. You're gonna feel bad for everything that you've ever said about me.
So I tend to ignore those comments. My mom loves to just come right in with those backhanded comments.
Like, oh, she's very bold-faced about it.
I have a tendency to just ignore those comments and move on, because in certain situations, only in certain situations, I have to. If there are people around and you don't want to cause a scene.
Because sometimes what they're trying to do is goad you into creating a scene.
A scene.
So they don't look like the jerk that they are.
Come out the hero of the situation. And I just walk away. I kind of look at them.
Yeah.
And I walk away.
Just think about that. Just sit with that.
Exactly. Because look, by acknowledging that they just said something and going, I'm actively ignoring you, and stepping out of the situation.
Sometimes that's the best you can do.
Sometimes that is the best you can do. Sometimes they'll stop and go, oh, did I just say something wrong? The people that are in my family that I disagree with, I see them maybe twice a year. It is not worth it to me to make a scene.
What's gonna happen? You're either going to, like, best case scenario, they see your side and they turn to the light side.
Our wonderful, fabulous, amazing former First Lady Michelle Obama says, when they go low, you go high. And as much as I hate that, I hate that so much, because
It's my fave.
I want to be as
shady.
I want to go
You want to
after.
be that spicy
I
bitch.
want to fight this person. I want to go into this situation and I want to fight you. Then her beautiful voice comes into my head, and I think, you right, girl, you right.
Like, what they're looking for is a reaction. They're like a toddler.
Anyway,
This wine is very potent.
it is.
So, in conclusion,
I think
case by case.
case by case, if you see this person on the regular, it would maybe behoove you to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, sometimes laying it on the table and being like, look, I don't necessarily agree with you. I realize that you don't necessarily agree with me. Can we agree to both be adults and just not bring up these things that we disagree on?
Is it okay that we have to be in the same room together? We don't have to be friends. I think if it can be avoided.
If a confrontation can be avoided, awesome.
It's the best. And it's probably not the answer that you wanted to hear, lovely viewer. And I'm sorry, but there comes that point where sometimes you just have to suck it up. But like I said, if you see this person frequently, say something to them, or say something to, if like maybe you're close to their person, say something to their person. Being honest about it if you need to be. Or being the bigger person. And let me scenario this at you. So like, say I got deep.
That's what I do.
Yeah. We get deep here on Queers Queries. So, I hope that answered something for you. We appreciate your query. So, please like,
subscribe,
and ring the bell.
And as always,
stay queer.
Or queer adjacent.
Yeah.
Yes, nailed it.